Hello, everyone. It's your boy Shadrach, that one analytical trainer. Right. Today I just want to take you through one of the things that I feel really needs to be addressed, especially in private care. Of course, in every organization this happens, but then the intensity of this also determines how soon you really need to solve this. As an employer, you really need to be very good at leading by example. If you know that you are not really good or you can't really play the role of leading by example, you need to probably appoint somebody who can be an example to your peer, to everyone, to the employees. All right. So there's one problem within the organizations, especially those that are managed or that are small, the smaller organizations that are private. It's a common thing that there's gossip. Where there's a group of more than two people, it, obviously the tendencies of gossip, but then there's some gossip that gets out of hand, and then it then affects the productivity of the company. Right, here is the point where you determine whether do you step in or you do not step in. Right, as long as that gossip is getting to a point that it's affecting productivity for that individual, yes, it should be accommodated, it should be addressed, because at the end of the day, it's not affecting the workplace environment. It begins to be toxic if that continues. That individual may not even continue to participate. Yeah. So the reason why we are doing this video is the problem with gossip is there's less productivity, more chatty. Yeah, they're trying to solve issues that do not even help anybody. Maybe it's a small incident that could have been solved. It may be from outside work, it may be from at work, but it affects productivity because now resources, time is now being shifted towards addressing such issues, especially if they're personal. That begins to be a very toxic environment. It starts with the first person. If it's not solved, the next person is going to do it, which means it begins to be a culture within the organization of gossip, right? Then staff will be stressed eventually, especially those that are involved, because it may lead to, we have social media, somebody might even have the time to go online and share these situations and expose everything, despite having to discuss everything and try to have a constructive and mature way to solve the issue. Low self-esteem, yes, those that are being discussed sometimes, especially if they find out, if they're not prepared for this well enough, it can affect their performance so much that they can't even still have their self-esteem even executing some tasks. So this is a really huge concern. It can even lead somebody to do something that they didn't really think they would do, because of this. So one way we can address this issue, the first is to define what gossip is. You need to take your time. You know your organization role as an employee, and your staff are there. You can consult your staff so that you come up, all of you come up with the gossip policy as a whole. It also creates accountability, because if somebody is going to be involved within that process, it means that they're going to be held accountable, because at the end of the day, they were involved. And it brings a sense of community, because this was done together. The procedures were put in place together, so everybody's going to abide to them, right? Rather than just telling them, waking up and tell them, now we have a gossip policy. That needs to be put in place, but everybody has to participate and share their ideas, share how they feel when it comes to the gossip, right? Usually gossip, eventually the intent is to criticize, to judge, half truths, rumors. It's bad. It's literally bad, right? It's not something to be proud of. If you're an employee and you're doing this right now, no, it's not good. It's not good. If you have something that you feel you want to say, rather you go to the individual, discuss with it. If you can't, you feel uncomfortable, well, here comes the other part that I want the employees to also consider. Have somebody who really resonates with all the employees, who's neutral, mature, older, who knows her way around through effective communication. That person can also be trained to be an effective communicator, and also conflict resolution as well. That person should be knowing how to go get a way around it. Sometimes you may appoint somebody that everybody even is scared to actually have a conversation with. Why not involve the staff to say, okay, fine, we feel maybe so and so can be our mediator when it comes to issues with gossip, so that if I have a problem that we have come across, I can literally go to that individual and say, hey, Mary did this and I don't think I'm happy with it because of this and that. Okay, no, that's fine. They hear the other story, you guys come together, you solve the issue, then we move on. All right. So signs of gossip, I'm just going to say ones that are more constant. All right. We've got some harsh conversations. There are some conversations where you are there, but it's beginning to be awkward. Sometimes our guts or instincts tell us something, in as much as we're trying to avoid it, but there is something hidden there. So most conversations that are bringing that awkwardness, or somebody actually moving away as quick as somebody's getting into the room, it shows that there's really something that's going on. It's already a conflict, but then nobody's saying anything. And after that person leaves, they start talking about her or that individual. This feels normal. This feels okay because no one is creating awareness within the workplace of having the conversation like that, in a way like that. So there's no awareness. No one is putting effort into solving this issue. So everybody feels it's normal, and you can fall in that same pit. If it was me, the individual would also start saying things about the person. Sometimes they're actually saying bad things. And at that point, you don't know who's telling the truth, who's not telling the truth. You can't even say anything. The little that you can do is just listen, and then it goes on. But then it will continue growing to some point. At some point, these people won't be talking at the same time. They're paid up for work. Then they convert their conflicts fade into complete tasks, providing care to the service user that is vulnerable at that moment. So it's a tricky situation, right? And then another sign that you see is when, even in the workplace, there are some social activities that that are out there. You notice an individual that is sort of left out in a sort of a social activity. So it means probably there are cliques or groups of individuals that prefer to be themselves or to be not involved. Usually this happens with those staff members that feel like they want to work. They show up, they do the work, they put in the hours, they put in everything. So to some of the other group guys, they might gossip around saying he works too much, he thinks he knows too much, or he talks too much. We've come across such situations. So, but at the end of the day, that individual feels happy, is comfortable putting in the work like that, like working, going an extra mile. But others don't really feel that the same. And then at the same time, they start gossiping about the individual. That individual then goes on to lose that esteem, feels excluded, and then eventually they fall into the same trap of not even wanting to be at that workplace. Yeah. And then awkwardness. Yes, awkwardness. You always feel awkwardness. There is signs of feeling awkwardness. It comes from the gut. You just feel something is going on somewhere, somehow. Something is not right within this work environment. Something is not going right. Especially when they communicate or they're having a conversation. You can hear the words. It's like a hushed conversation. You just hear the words and you'll be like, no, there's really something that's going on, but you can't really pinpoint where. But after one of the individuals leaves, they start talking. They start saying things, especially if you're a new employee. You are informed about everything. They told you who's doing that, why they're doing it. You don't like that. So it's a major sign that there's nothing that's being done about how do we address ourselves in terms of gossip, and how do we share information such as that, right? Then refusing to work with other people. Yes, you can show you a reason that there's something that's going on. There's probably a conflict there, but no one is trying to have a look at it or discuss about it. And uncooperative. Some individuals may become uncooperative, right? I've already touched upon the problems that this brings, and most organizations are not really being fully productive because of this. Remember, communication within the healthcare sector is very important. But if there's small things that we really overlook, those also map up the bigger picture. Even if you are to bring a consultant within your organization, there's some cultures that already been there for the past 5 years or 6 years of gossip, of cultural differences, of groups, cliques. So even if you are to put something that they need to work on, you are literally just at the top, but you're not working around the important aspects of their operational activity to be more efficient. Because so the basis is the small issues that we overlook. If there is continuous awareness and checking up and monitoring on this and literally making it a point that you are putting in effort that we need to solve this, it shows that this is not supposed to be done in the wrong way, because it affects a person like this. And if I'm to do it the right way, this is how I'm going to do it the right way. That's when the procedure comes in. An easy read policy for the gossip. All right. Right. How do we solve this? The first one is lead by example from the management. Or if you are considered to be management, choose wisely. And you need to, as an employer, you need to choose wisely, especially the management. They really, really need to lead by example. At the same time, have that a little bit of social aspect. It's not a forced matter, but then that social aspect helps you to connect with the people around you, because you can have management that's strict. Sometimes information doesn't get to them because they're too strict. That's when they gossip. Now they start saying, they don't listen. Yeah, last time I told this one to do this, I asked for this, they didn't do it. Because, so why did you call them? I can't call them. No, usually it's not, I don't think they're good enough to listen to me or anything. you know then they now triggers the whole gossip within the organization. Even if you get into some organizations, you can hear that, yeah, literally the management is being on their mouths every single minute. It means that there is gossip going around about how they're operating as management. So lead by example, especially if you are to address as another member within the organization. It's better to address that issue while that staff member is there. It helps a lot. So when you're leading by example, it's lead by example with regards to gossip. If you are to criticize, if you are to judge, do not even go through that route. Constructive motivation is better when you are to do this, and also have that individual involved whenever you want to have to address that issue, because it affects him. So make sure he is there or she is there, right? And then appoint somebody champion. Yeah, it's more like a small champion that is a mediator within the organization. That person can be trained. We've got online trainings for conflict resolution. Deal with issues of conflicts within the organization. That person really needs to be good, mature, knows how to lead, knows how to communicate. Yeah, and her actions or his actions should also lead. Yeah. Then if there is a gossip within your organization, even if you're the employer, address it very quick before it becomes a rumor, before it becomes half truths, before everybody starts getting on social media and sharing and posting that very same story. So address it quick. If you identify the source as well, address it quick. Call in that individual, have a discussion about it. If it needs to be solved, it needs to be solved. The quicker the better for a gossip. Yeah. And then for the organization, you can also look at positive behavior training. Positive behavior training can extend into gossip, the way you behave at work, how do you communicate, what do we accept as a positive behavior within the workplace. All those issues can also be addressed within the same setting. And then team building. There are so many activities that can encourage team building. Some of them are online. It's just that if, as an organization or as an employer, they do not take time into or invest some time into looking at it, eventually you won't see the answers. You will not even come up with strategies to actually put in place and improve your workplace and address these small issues. So team building activities can be done maybe physically. Yes, if you have a team, you can subdivide them into two groups. those that are free on that very first day, they can attend if it's free, if it's one on face to face, and then the other team can attend on another day. It's better because at the end of the day, you're trying to bring about that sense of community, that sense of belonging, and also encouraging them within those activities to just be open. If there is something going on, there's always room to communicate, right? And then mediation, I've already spoke about mediation. You need somebody that's really good. You can identify that individual, especially those that are mature. Yeah, the mature ones are actually better. That have probably what we say is those that have seen it all, but those that are good to communicate. You can try and identify a certain individual like that so that they can assist in that area. It's not a full-time role. It's here and there when we have such an issue or anything. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you, guys.